Um. So, are we good to go, Val? Perfect. Um. When last we left off, our adventurers had completed their first full day within the city of Dina Sundad. A long day, it must be admitted. Um. Made a little bit. A couple of them made a little bit of money with fisticuffs in The Bear and the Butcher, and then also aided a local shopkeep in recapturing a monetarily important but also incredibly dangerous creature that was loose in her basement, in which you received some lovely rewards, including a kind of like a voucher to a nearby shop, as well as some other little knickknacks and some payment. You all returned to your lodging at the wonderful Phineas's Flop House, and uh, after that, and some conversation between members of the group, y'all went to sleep. You wake up the next morning with the sun rising over the city, and you have time. It is safe here within the walls of the city. The festival of Beeltena is in pretty much exactly 2 weeks. So, on this first day, we are going to essentially run through downtime, and by the end of this session, it will be the night before the Beeltena celebrations. So we're just going to get started. If there's anything anybody wants to do the very next day, we'll start with that. But otherwise, we're just going to kind of go through what you guys are going to do over the course of these 2 weeks, person by person, group by group. Some people might want to do things together. Totally okay. We're just going to run scenes. So that'll be fun. Is anybody who would like to start this morning?
Did we pick up our uh did we make our collection at Chungle Down Bim? Sorry, Muggle Yump Bims.
You guys, you guys have not been to Muggle Yum Bims yet.
Okay.
That was
I
the
think we
voucher
should do
you
that
guys got.
together. I would be delighted for that to be a together activity. That's my only request.
No full on the sweat.
Okay.
I want to go to Mogi on Bims too. I'm with that. I am next to the grass man.
Ophalon's got 3 things he wants to do this week, my dudes.
Okay. Do you want to go to Muggle Yump Bims first and then talk about what you're doing by yourself, or you want to go off by yourself right now?
No, we can go to the shop.
Okay. Because if you want to go off by yourself, that's totally fine. I'm willing to run that. I would rather we kind of do this logically and not have everybody say, these are all the things I want to do, and then have to catch up on all of it. So, waking up, all of you, Ewan climbing down from his tree, the rest of you, or his beanstalk disguised as a tree, I should say, and the rest of you emerging from the rooms that you have rented at Phineas's Flop House. You decide to head off to the strange shop you all had seen, that seems to be made of multiple barrel type carts all stacked together with a simple door with a set of little stairs leading up to it. And as you all approach, you see the sign, Muggle Yump Bims, hanging above the door, and a little knock and entry right on inside. I need something a tiny bit more. Black.
Need some city music, I feel like. Or
I do
some...
need some city music. Let's see.
I went to eat
D&D
the last of
City
the crumbs from my pretzels, and I forgot that there was going to just be a bunch of salt at the bottom.
Oh,
Oh God.
you got some juice?
You need some water, baby?
I have water. It's okay.
Water, my love.
Entering the shop, you perhaps unsurprisingly recognize that it's just as chaotic in here as the outside of the building. Odds and ends and knickknacks, half-finished furniture, jars filled with random assortments of knickknacks and odds and ends and bits and bobs all over the place, all around. But there is a distinct counter in the center of the space here, and seated upon it, just kind of like with what looks like almost like little dominoes or like some little game set of some kind, are two small beings with elaborately carved wooden masks and these large green cloaks pulled up over their heads, and they're sitting there. And as you all enter, their two little heads whoop, turn over to you and watch all of you enter. You see, they look at you, they look at each other, they look back at you again. They both stand up, kick the game pieces back behind the thing, and you hear in. Does anybody here speak Gnomish? For that is who these are. These are forest gnomes, as you all would recognize gnomes at the very least. And you see, as the DM turns down the music that he picked, one of them straightens up and clears his little throat. He said, "Hello, welcome all. Welcome on in to Muggle Yump Bims. I have the pleasure of being Muggle Yump Jim, and that over there is Muggle Yump Thrim. And if it I be's old Muggle Yump Thrim, then she must be young Muggle Yump Nim." And you see a third one of these pop out from the drawer, basically. And she says, "And of course, if I'm young Muggle Yump Nim, then he must be old Muggle Yump Pim." And then there's one final one that you see peers down at you all from above on the door mantle. And he says, and all together, the four of them, "We're the Muggle Yumps. Welcome on in. Welcome on in to Muggle Yump Bims." And in quick as a flash, all four of them are up on the table. As with gnomes, there is no real way to distinguish gender. They're just kind of there in cloaks, but you do see each one of their masks is elaborately carved differently, to distinguish each one from each other. But they all stand there on the counter expectantly, looking at you.
What's the best thing I've seen since I've come to this city?
Well,
Well, I
thank
heard-
you, sir.
So I heard all kinds of M's, but I didn't hear the BIM.
You see the initial one who had introduced himself as Muggle Yump Jim. That's JYM. He says, "Oh, of course. Well, old Muggle Yump Bim was the founder of this here establishment. He was our grandfather. He's the one that brought the carts into the city, you know." The third, the female who identified herself as Muggle Yump Nim, which is NIMH, she pipes up and says, "But I can assure you, we are more than happy to take care of any business that you need to be taken care of. We run this establishment as well as we can." The one who introduced himself second, Muggle Yump Thrym, THRYM, who seems to be kind of the older member of the group, says, "But don't be worried. Of course, we could also expedite orders from elsewhere in the city if you need us to. We are good at acquiring. That's for certain."
You good at acquiring? Y'all also good at searching?
The final one, Muggleyump Pym, Pym,
Like
standing there, says, "Find and searching everything you could need. As long as you got the coin to pay for it, we can help you out."
Well, it's my kind of place. All right. And I want to just look around the shop if I can.
Yeah.
As do I.
I'm gonna like tap Kyra on the arm. Wait, Kyra, you've got the thing that the alchemist gave us, right?
I kind of jump as soon as, like, jump and, like, snap my journal closed. As Ewan taps me on the shoulder and just, like, I thought, did I have it or did Juniper have it?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
I think you took it, Kyra.
I know that I had the healing potions.
Did I write down our?
Write down in. What do you do this session? Oh God.
Yeah, I took the 6 healing potions. What was it that that Mildred give us?
She just said to
She just said to tell them, right?
I have in my inventory something new. I don't know what it was from, but it was the Periapt of Water Creation.
She gave you that. Yep. No, she gave you a little note. It doesn't really matter who has it. One of you guys has it.
Okay.
A note.
Oh, it's Kyra. You left it in the side pocket, and I'll pluck it out of the bag. The local alchemist, Mildred, said to give you this. We helped her out with something.
See, one of the Muggleyumps reaches out and takes it and like looks it over and looks and she says, "Oh, yes, of course. Well, this is good for a bit of trade, that's for certain. As thanks for helping out a local business." And you see they kind of look around the shop, and everybody, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Right.
Natural 20.
I rolled a 16.
8.
I rolled a dirty 21.
30, 21.
19.
Let's see here.
Fairly high for Oathlon.
Looking around, it's especially with a natural 20, it's very easy to tell that the Muggleyumps are essentially a general store. You can purchase anything here that appears on the adventuring gear table. So if there is, and that can be found on D&D Beyond, you can get arcane focuses, ammunition, holy symbols, and then there's a whole list of other adventuring gear that can be purchased. That includes
I'll open that really quick.
such things as like containers, equipment packs, tool sets can be purchased here. So anything you can think of. And essentially what you have been given is a voucher for up to 100 gold pieces worth of gear purchased from the Muggleyumps.
Each or just in total?
In total.
Well, what table
That's
was
a
it
lot.
again? The
Adventure. Adventuring gear table from the basic rules, not from the Rick and Morty
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah. No, nothing whack.
Yeah.
Just gonna buy every
Okay,
single tool
yeah.
set known to man.
I don't think I have. Okay. So one thing I definitely want to get, Kyle, is navigator's tools, if I can surmise some of that.
Okay.
And then once everybody kind of figures out what different gear they want, I did want to ask one of the Mongol Yumps a question.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Ooh, can I get some manacles as well?
We should probably grab some tents. If we're going to be leaving the city at any point.
That's true. Let me see. What do I have?
Navigator's tools come to 25 GP.
Okay.
Oh, you don't need all that. I know where everything is on this island. He says.
What I do too is just like sometimes the stars get a little squirrely, so I gotta get it right elsewhere.
Ophalon's just kind of looking around. I really admire the Mugglyum trim.
Fucking hate you.
That's drip spelled with a Y. DRYP.
Juniper looks at Kyra. How many tents do you think we should grab?
Well, at least someone was listening to me.
I'm not very good at camping. I had a very hard time getting to the boat.
Pretty often, so I'm kind of okay without a tent. You see, as I have to submerge myself in water most of the time, the tent's not really conducive to that.
Yeah.
So, a tent, a standard tent, no matter what, holds 2 people.
Yeah.
So you guys could have 3 tents would cover all of you, no problem. You could have 4 tents or 4 or 5 tents if anybody wanted a bit more privacy.
There are only 2 gold pieces.
There are only 2 gold pieces per person, and each of you should have. You guys have the voucher for 100 GP worth of stuff. And then you also do have your own personal funds that you.
Realistically, we could probably get away with like 2 tents, right? Because I doubt Omenda would take up a full like bed. We could just like put a little like chamber pot size thing between Ophalon and I, and just.
Chamber pot's a little small there, buddy.
Hey, hold on. That depends on the chamber pots.
Call it a basin, and then we're good. No.
Yeah, a trough. How about a trough?
You could realistically get away with two tents, yes.
Never wanting to assume, Juniper asks Kyra, do you want to share a tent?
I'm fine with sharing a tent, I suppose.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I like my privacy personally.
Okay.
So, I mean, we have 100 gold pieces worth. I feel like it's okay if we buy.
Well, if you like your privacy, why don't you sleep outside the tent?
There's less privacy outside of the tent, Ominda.
Well, you know.
Ooh, I just got really high all of a sudden. Hold on, guys. Everything started swaying at once.
Kyle, how much wood should I lost it? Yeah, if you could chuck some wood, how much would that be? No, I'm kidding. It was I saw it. Manacles.
Yeah.
Why do you always buy in fucking chains, brother? What's going on with this?
Set of manacles is
every character.
If it's just for just like one set just for arms or legs, it's 2 gold pieces. If you want the full set, like the legs, the arms, and then the bit that connects the 2, like a true full set of manacles to completely immobilize somebody, that comes out to about probably 5 total.
Okay, I'll use my personal funds for that.
Okay.
Manacles.
Kyle, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What sort of because when I was looking through tool proficiencies, doing goofy little elf things, there's no like Fletcher's toolkit. So what would you say is the toolkits required to like make arrows? I imagined like wood carvers and something else, maybe.
Yeah, it would probably be wood carvers tools. Let me see.
They should open a Mugglyum gym.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
It's a gym with 2 M's.
That with a Y.
2 Ys. Moguyump Gims.
Yeah, I would say that you could easily make arrows using a wood carver's kit. You know what? It's D&D. We're gonna make a new toolkit, a Fletcher's kit. A Fletcher's kit, I would say, would combine elements of a woodcarver's tools, weaver's tools, and probably like the basics of smith's tools as well, just simple things.
Yeah.
So I'd say it'd be 3 gold for everything that you need.
Yeah, Ewan will start wandering looking for things that resemble the cobbled together fletching kit he had at home, and I think
Yeah.
eventually come up on that.
Love that.
This
And
is
as
so
you-
much nicer than what I made.
So you guys want to take the price of the tents out of the communal fund, the voucher fund.
That feels fair.
So you're going to get 3 tents, is that correct? Okay.
Juniper's getting her own tent.
Juniper's getting her own tent, Kyra's getting her own tent, and then a tent for
The boys.
the boys. Understood. So yep, 3 tents. That's 6 gold gone out of your 100 for the
Ooh.
voucher.
Kyle, I would like to really quick look around and see if I see anything of value, like anything that really like pops out in this general store.
Sure. What'd you get on that perception check?
16.
16. Yeah, with the 16, I think you can see that probably the most expensive shiny thing that catches your eye here. There are a couple of like vials of some sort of liquid up on a shelf, and they're in like kind of slightly crystalline decanter type bottles. There are a couple of books that look pretty ornate as well. And then there is another shelf that is it's more close to the front, and the stuff is just kind of open to the air, but you do see a spyglass, a magnifying glass, and like some other bits and bobs like that, like fine lensed things.
Right. Okay.
Along with like glass workers' tools nearby
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna head towards them decanters.
You get closer. You do recognize a couple of them as that familiar red liquid of healing potions. Then there's a few of them that have kind of a greenish tinged liquid in them.
Are there any like labels on them or the like the stand they're on or anything like that?
It seems these are like simple poisons, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like poison vials. And you do see a price tag of 100 GP for each of the vials of poison.
Okay. I would like to look at our shopkeeps if I could, see how on us they are.
Oh my god.
There are 4 of them, and they are a bit scatterbrained, but they basically have the entirety of the inside of this room clocked at most times. You see the 4th one, Moguyump Pim. After doing all of the introductions, he doesn't seem to be like as into people as the rest of them, so he's gone back to his perch, which is right above the mantle of the door, and he just kind of sits up there and just like watches the whole shop.
Okay.
Does he have like a little hammock up there, or does he
Yeah,
just like
absolutely.
sit? Oh, amazing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Go for it.
Juniper just asks the group if it's okay if she uses some of the voucher to get herself some note-taking stuff.
I don't even know if I could count to 100.
Well, I don't see why not.
What are we gonna
like,
spend over this on?
You could.
I
get,
would.
Yeah, and Juniper, you could absolutely get stuff like separately. You could also get a scholars pack for 40 gold. That comes with a backpack, a book, like a blank or a book of lore, a bottle of ink, an ink pen, 10 sheets of parchment, a little bag of sand, and a small knife.
Interesting. Yeah, the thing is Juniper has 8 gold pieces to her name. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely use the voucher for it if you would like.
Yeah.
So you guys are at the moment down 46 out of 100 on your voucher.
So it's called a what?
It's called a Scholars Pack. You should just be able to search for it and add it on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
If you can't add the Scholars Pack, then I'll let you know here in just a minute the individual items that you can add.
Oh, I found it.
Perfect.
Do any of you know how to cook?
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you have
I
anything
mostly
to cook with?
No.
We should
We should
probably
probably have stuff to cook with. Or
I have a mess kit. That's a small one.
isn't that just the stuff to eat with a mess kit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cook's utensils, though, really cheap. 1 gold.
Yeah.
We can
One
grab
side
them.
can be the box clamps
Also,
together,
why
and
not?
one
It's-
side can be used as a cooking pan, and the other as a plate or shallow bowl.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely something.
A mess kit is good for one person. Cooking for
Okay.
one person personally. A set of cooking utensils is more for like making meals for the entire group.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are there any cauldrons in here?
Yes, absolutely. There are. Shoop, 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 shoop.
I'm gonna make so much soup for you idiots.
I do like me some soup.
I would call that essentially a large pot or
Yeah.
jug. Instead of a standard pot that holds 1 gallon, I'd say you could get a small cauldron that could carry probably 2 to 3 gallons.
Amazing.
Of if you needed it to, and that would be. Let me see.
Amanda, you could probably sleep in this.
What? What is it again?
It's a cauldron that carries like 2 to 3 gallons of water. How
Well,
tall is Omenda again? He's like 3 feet tall.
3'5", I believe, is what I put on there.
Oh, I mean, if you're pulling yourself in, then you could probably fit in the hole.
I'm
you like
3'3".
you spread out when you sleep usually, or do you
Well, I actually
up in?
kind of get all up in myself. You know, I
do
kind
you
of.
think you could fit in this pot comfortably?
Let me say.
Should we go bigger?
Well, I do like a little bit of comfort. You know, I am a sea captain, so.
If you are planning on cooking with this pot, I would not let the poisonous frogman sleep in the pot.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna just.
pot.
My skin,
I
is
think-
generally poisonous.
I might just sip in for a moment. He, I'm pretty sure, is a poisonous frog.
Yeah.
So
Whoa!
not
Don't
to
fault me for that.
not to call you toxic. I'm just
He's a
saying
little toxic.
Only a little bit, okay?
I've
Literally.
With him.
it might not be the smartest thing to put him into a dish that we eat out of.
Oh
no,
no,
that's
you
what-
too.
that's
That's what the other one is for. Yeah, we've got so much.
Got so
We're
much
fine.
gold to use.
How much are those 2 pots?
So
like
Two
a-
gold, I think.
2 cauldrons.
Mhm.
I would say of that size, you can get 2 of them for 4 gold. Total.
Yeah.
All right, Mendo, but you have to carry it. It's your bed.
Yeah, I
If you get two
suppose.
if you get 2 cauldrons, that's going to get you up to 50. If you get a set of cook's utensils, you'll be at 51 on your used of your voucher so far.
Quick
Well, let me
question
see,
for Velry.
Go for it.
Does Kyra have proficiency in cooked utensils?
No.
Well, we're gonna have to cook together.
No, I know how to cook.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
was saying earlier. I've been making food since I could walk.
Well, I would like to see
Well,
real quick.
raw
Raw
there's
food
any-
doesn't taste as good. Raw meat's kind of yeah.
Well, I mean,
I just
I've
like
been
my- I just
cooking
like my
for
fish smoked.
I've been cooking for a whole family for most of my life. It just doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the best at it.
I suppose plenty of talented sous chefs. Lovely.
Yes. Also, really quick,
What did I just say?
Mr. Pam, y'all got any weapons?
Oh, we don't service in weapons too much. If you're looking for such things as that, I would recommend heading up to the 3rd level. There's Hrolda's Arms and Armament. That's where you'd want to go for weapons and armor and things such as that.
What about like a tinker shop, like an inventor kind of dude?
What?
What the hell is Tinker?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you on about?
What?
Like for like a guy who makes stuff that's like new.
Like an apothecary?
Everything
we
you
weren't-
make is new.
Oh, for
Nah, but like
That's
A
when
black
you
snake.
make it, that's how it becomes new.
but like stuff other people doesn't make, like stuff nobody's ever made before.
Artisan?
Not just like stuff other people made
there's-
before. And
Oh,
then
I've
they
heard
make
of
One
it.
of those, like a cobbler, right?
Like
Like
those
those
guys
guys that make.
Yeah.
There's
feet
plenty,
I thought they just make shoes.
there's plenty of artisans and such around the city that you could perhaps request something new and intriguing from. If you're looking specifically for, say, magical things, that would be up on the 4th level. You would want to head up to Smiley's Chest of Wonders.
Smiley's chest. Okay.
All right, cool. And he just kind of looks at everybody. I had an idea in my dream last night, and I want to see if somebody could make it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he has ideas? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. We'll see,
Should
we'll
we
see
be-
where that takes us.
Should
Ophenon, are you feeling well?
Should we be worried?
I'm gonna like put like my wrist to the back of his forehead. Are you feeling alright, son?
What
You
what would,
okay
give
there?
you, what would give you the impression that I am ill in any way, shape, or form?
Well, you just said you had an idea, so I'm just kind of
What?
making
You
sure
say
nothing.
you say
I'm
that
gonna like
as
hold
if,
his head next to my ear and just like shake him.
you say that as if I'm dumb somehow. Like
Mr.
I don't think we were ever insinuating that you were dumb. I think it was more of the fact that you don't normally share that type of realization with us, so we did not understand that you.
Mr. Ophalon.
Thought in that way very
like
often.
to-
when I was younger, my mentor said that if you think you're gonna say something dumb, just don't say it. So I don't say a lot of stuff a lot of the time, or something like that. I don't really remember how it went.
So
So what did that
It was- it was something about- It was something about don't say. I think he just said don't say dumb shit.
Right.
I don't remember off the top of my head. So when I have ideas, unless I got like a really good vision of what it is, I don't say anything. You think I won this fucking double-bladed scimitar just because I was better at fighting than the other guy?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Kinda.
how much strategy goes
Absolutely.
into fighting?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I
I almost got bitten half by a wolf. Yes.
We fought yesterday, and I almost beat your ass.
You still lost.
Yeah, well, I did also beat your fighter too, and my fighter. So I'm still up.
Lay down.
Listen, I think that we are getting off of the topic at hand.
I'm somewhat hurt that everybody criticized me for having an idea and didn't ask what it was.
What was your idea, Opal?
No, I don't want to fucking tell you.
Okay.
I was
Jennifer
waiting
just
to
says,
see. I was waiting to see you with that artisan and see how you explain it to him. I don't want to get in your way.
Well, at the very least, like if I tell you guys, maybe I'd get laughed out of the shop or something.
No,
So-
it's all right.
We
So-
won't laugh at you.
We can
We
pay
can
for
pay
it
first
if
if
you're
you're
worried.
worried.
What's my alignment again?
I don't know if you guys noticed last night, but I have a tendency to drink a lot.
Really?
No way.
I do too. It's okay.
It's one of the
I'll get
reasons.
British.
Yeah,
I
If I
was
told you
thinking-
scurvy.
it's one of the reasons I learned some healing magic, is so that way in the morning I can kind of be like, how bad of a headache do I have? And I can just make it go away. That's what he uses cure wounds for. Just a very light one, just to make the headache go away. And so I had I was having a dream last night, and I can't remember a fucking thing else but this. I had found it was like a thin piece of metal. That went straight across, and then 2 bits to go back, and then it was like they had like 2 little roundy bits of like stained glass almost. And the guy I was fighting in my dream was wearing them, and he looked really cool. And when I put him on, it was like the whole world was less bright all the time.
So okay.
Huh.
So
That's not.
So I thought that maybe one of the artisans.
Are we all on the same page? He's talking about sunglasses, right?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about sunglasses. I think. Yeah. So I don't think that'd be actually that
Kyle
difficult.
just
That'd be pretty
cursing
easy
your
to get
name
artisan
under
made
his
for you.
breath.
You're not a fucking artificer anymore, motherfucker. There's no artificers in this world.
No artificers exist, boss. You're just gonna have to suck it up.
Stained glass exists. How dare you?
Stained glass does exist.
You could just get some shades. You know
I'm
what I
a
mean? That
I'm a
wouldn't be
surfer
hard.
dude. I should have sunglasses.
Surfer dudes don't need sunglasses. Just don't have blue eyes.
But so I don't think that idea is dumb at all. I actually think it'd be pretty useful for when you're out at sea and there's no trees to block the view.
Why don't you just wear a hat,
Why don't you just
like with a brim over your? Why would you want to like?
I
get
will
the
say,
hat?
hat?
You guys
It's kinda hard to wear a hat
you
with
guys
these,
you
man.
guys have met multiple people already in the city who have glasses. Like
Yeah,
regular
I was about to say. Are you just?
Yeah.
Are you just? You just want dark
Yeah,
glasses?
glasses exist. They're a thing that do exist. You don't need to find a fucking tinkerer to
We could just-
create.
Bifocals.
Ophalon doesn't know that. He hasn't been paying attention to anybody around the city, for the most part.
You know that
I
we
live
could
in the
just
woods.
ask. We could just ask Phineas where he got his glasses from.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we could. That ain't a bad idea. But Mr. Pym, I did have another question for you.
You're talking to a dude that's just above the door, just looking down at you now.
Yeah, he seems to be the guy that got his eyes on things. So I would like to ask. I did ask a little earlier if y'all did business in finding people.
People not so much, but maybe objects a bit better.
What about like what if it was like a relative? It's not like I'm trying to find anybody for nefarious means.
I mean, they see the Mugglyums all kind of look at each other and they're like, "We could keep an eye out."
Well, all right. They might have even come in here if they're anything like me. You see anybody that because I'm in regular form. See anybody kind of my height and form come in here recently?
Make a persuasion check.
Persuage. I'm really good at those. Holy shit.
Cards be like.
18.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
You see, they kind of look at each other, and it's actually from over on the counter, Muggleyump Jim, who pipes up and he says, "Well, it's not often that folk such as yourself get too terribly far away from the docks, but now that you mention it, we did see another one like yourself about a month or so ago. Came by.
like a headrest on?
What?
She had like a headrest?
In fact, she did. She was purchasing some equipment, and actually, and you see, he points over to the shelf with the spyglass, and she points at the spyglass, and he says she actually traded that for quite a bit of equipment.
The spyglass?
Mm-hmm.
My glasses are worth 1,000 gold.
I would like to inspect said spyglass.
Well, we can certainly allow you to look at it. And you see, they pull it down. Yeah, it's a very elaborate, well-made piece. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Because I was thieved. I wonder if it's like a item of my booty. Natural 20. 21.
Not an item of your booty. But you
Damn.
do recognize this item.
Yeah.
Because it did belong to Galpa Vraga.
Mm.
Specifically, she used it on the ship. She was a lookout on the ship, and
Right.
it was her personal item. That she would have sold it for gear is interesting.
Right.
The last you saw her, she had access to so much gold that it seems strange that she would have had to have sold this.
Okay. Did when my relative came and sold traded this to you, did they say anything about it? This is a pretty expensive item of theirs.
Right. You see the female gnome, Moguyump Nim, she comes up and she says, "Well, she was telling us that it was it had belonged to her for quite some time, and we looked it over, and it was very well made. She said she got it far and away on the continent from some sort of fine lens crafter, and we appraised it, and we determined what we could purchase it for. She needed all sorts of things. She was purchasing gear for a long journey, it seemed. And they kind of go into detail a little bit for you because you scored a nat 20. She was buying like climbing gear, navigator's tools, all kinds of stuff, tents, cooking supplies, like everything needed for a very long journey inland.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I am hoping to find her. She kind of lost her way a little bit. I'm just trying to hope to bring her back home. So I would like to also get a set of climbers gear if I could.
Certainly. We can cobble that together for you. That'll be a further 25 gold.
I will just pay for that. That's a lot of the thing. Okay. Well, I do appreciate y'all's information. I haven't had much, and I appreciate your patronage. I'm gonna keep looking around, and I'm gonna go ahead and get back to the aisles and stuff.
For sure. Anybody else have anything that they might want to purchase here?
No, I'm set.
Okay.
Yes. How much did we spend, Belle? Because I saw you back
My numbers.
We have 49 pieces of gold left.
Okay.
Alrighty. Oh.
No.
I'm just sitting quietly, like, towards the door,
Mm-hmm.
frantically taking notes down.
Okay. Yeah. You guys take a look around the shop, and having found all the stuff you have, you see they Muggleyumps take your voucher and they write on it and scratch a couple of things out. This voucher is still good for 49 gold worth of gear. You're more than welcome to bring it back to the shop and exchange it for goods whenever you need.
Sick nasty.
Well, I appreciate y'all shop here. It's definitely unique. Definitely give my regards to Mr. Bim. I know it's been a while, but he does good work.
You see they all nod their heads and they say, "Well, if Grandpappy ever decides to come back from the dead, then we'll be sure to do so. Otherwise, we're we'll be taking care of it from here on. But we thank you kindly for your kind words. Always come. You're always welcome. You've helped out fellow business here in the city, so happy to help. Best we can.
And he'll tip his hat and then make his way out the door.
Okay.
He's done.
Why am I now suddenly concerned that we're going to have to fight the mini boss that is the resurrected Muggle Yump Bim?
Just fucking.
Bim,
Okay,
first of
okay.
his name.
Fucking One Winged Angel starts playing.
Don't give me ideas. All right. You guys leave Muggle Yump Bims with some gear.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just a wee bit.
Alrighty. If there's anything else you guys would like to do as a group, let me know now, or in anything like that. Otherwise, we're just gonna start going person by person, just kind of dealing with what people want to get done throughout the week or the next couple weeks.
Well, I'm gonna go look around and see if I can get any more information about my relative that I need to find. If any of y'all need to do anything like that, we can go together. But otherwise, I might just do that on my own.
I mean, that's kind of your business, so if you want us to assist, I don't see why. I've got a lot on my plate right now, so I'm going to, yeah, and I just kind of turn on my heel and start heading the opposite direction.
Juniper catches up with Kyra real quick. Did you want some company or some help?
I don't know.
Oh my god. It's okay if you don't.
Okay. I'm used to kind of doing things on my own, so, and I... Thank you. And I just I start walking away.
Juniper literally says, "It's okay. Go. You're not hurting my feelings."
Wonderful. Juniper and you and head off, or Juniper and Omenda head off.
Oh yeah. When you guys look back to where Omenda and or when Juniper looks back to where Omenda and Ophalon were, Ewan's disappeared.
Juniper
Going
makes,
lost.
Juniper makes her way to the apothecary's place.
Wonderful. Alrighty then. I think it's time that we start going through some different little scenes here as we kind of move our way through these next couple of weeks. I'm going to roll a d10 to see who we start with.
Hey,
Ewan,
Hello.
what are we getting up to?
Something
Ewan-
nefarious.
Ewan is absolutely getting lost in these couple of weeks. I think by virtue of, I'm used to going around a space and familiarizing myself with it, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that with this city yet, so I'm just going to every single section that I can. Yeah, every single section of the city, I'm trying to familiarize myself with the space.
Okay. For sure.
At least its general layout.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make for me an investigation or perception check.
I'm gonna take that. But I rolled low. I rolled a 12 total.
12 total. You just start to explore. There are 7 levels of this city, and it becomes immediately apparent that the top 3 levels of this city are kind of the castle and the surrounding areas of that. The guards of the city are not that enthused about letting just anybody into those portions of the city. You do find yourself rebuked multiple times, and you also find yourself unfortunately unable to scale any walls. There are enchantments preventing such things.
There are enchantments preventing such things, but luckily, what I could do, because I'm getting into that fucking castle, I have to know what it looks like. They don't want me in there. I'm contractually obligated to find out what's in there. I could turn into a cute little, a little weasel or a stoat, something small,
Absolutely.
snake by him.
That's
But I
true.
don't think that happens on the first day. I think
Okay.
Ewan is rebuked, is upset about that. At some point, yeah. At some point during the week, he does that though. He tries to sneak in to the castle.
We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes.
For sure.
As you familiarize yourself with the city, you do find the locations of several other of the shops that you've heard of. You find the smithy known as Hrolda's Arms and Armor, and you also find Smiley's Chest of Wonders, which even compared to other shops that in this city that you've seen, and even Muggle Bim's, which was such a strange assortment, Smiley's Chest of Wonders is also strange in that it's a door with a sign above it just in a wall, like a stone wall, and you pass by it a couple of times, or that area a couple of times, and that's the reason that you notice it, because you notice the door and the sign the first time, but then the next time you go by, there's nothing there. It's just a blank wall. And then the next time you come by again, the door and the sign are there again. You can't read, you don't know that it says Smiley's Chest of Wonders, but you do catch sight of this strange disappearing and reappearing door. You also find a few more of the inns and taverns that you had heard of. You find one that is a bit more of a like cozy cottage-like space, and that's up on one of the higher levels. You see, and that's the only one that you actually see like people actively moving around, and you see this kind of harried-looking halfling man with way too large glasses and bad comb over, who's like just running around outside, like trying to keep up maintenance on the cottage. Other than that, you pass a lot of things that you're pretty sure are temples. You see places where a lot of coin is traded, and asking questions around. People will tell you these are different guild halls. Some people have told you about the crafters guilds and merchant guilds and artisans guilds and other such things. This is a massive city, and you find yourself really exploring a lot of it, and kind of logging in your mind where a lot of these places are, even though you're not entirely sure of the names of all of them.
Fantastic.
Now, how far into this 2 weeks do you think you get before you make a really determined attempt to get into the upper districts of the city?
I think after a little while of just sort of being idle in the city, Ewan has another sort of dream memory situation.
Mhm.
of a small, mischievous, black-coated hare. And he has memories of chasing it through the underbrush. And I think after that memory, at some point, one evening, he wakes up restless and makes his way over there. So probably only about no more than a week, I would say.
No more than a week. We want to say this is the beginning of the second week, maybe.
Easily
Easy.
beginning of the second week activity.
Very well. That's important. At this point, decorations are starting to be set up all throughout the city in preparation for an upcoming festival. And you see multiple, because of how large the city is, there's multiple spaces that could be considered like community squares where people all come together. And you see massive piles of sticks and lumber and everything being set up for bonfires. And they are being prepped over the course, beginning to be prepped at the beginning of this week. You see lots of like paper kites and such in the designs of the sun. And just a lot of things celebrating the coming of summer. That evening, as you head towards the castle, I will say you approach, and again, the entry to these upper districts is technically the entry to the third level, the up at the third highest level. So you know you have multiple districts to get through before you get to the castle, but the districts do get smaller as they go up towards the pinnacle. It looks like, from what you have seen, this first district that you will pass through that is off limits is kind of more of a nobility residential district. So as you approach the gates leading in here, you see members of the Emerald Guards sort of, doing their patrols. There are two that are stationed by the gates at all times. What are you going to do?
So, Ewan's gonna sort of make his way sidelong towards the gate. And before he's even within 100 feet or so of it, he's just going to make sure nobody's watching. Before his form, like water falling into a new mold, falls down, and he sprouts a much golden fur, and I'm going to turn into a fox.
You do so, yeah. You turn into a fox here, and not unusual. This city has been built up on this kind of high point at the southernmost tip of this island, but you've seen plenty of wildlife. But wildlife that is more comfortable living in cities, like hawks and foxes and the occasion, not a lot of like badgers or anything, but you've definitely seen like raccoons and like things such as that.
God, I love trash pandas. They're so fucking
a
cute.
fox, not entirely out of place in the city at large, although maybe a little more out of place this far up in the city.
And once I've done that, I'm just gonna creep along the side of the wall until I'm gonna try to just sneak past the guards.
Okay.
Be a little feller.
You can go ahead and make for me a stealth check. You are a fox, and it's evening. I'll give you advantage.
Okay, that is an 8.
A what?
An 18 with advantage.
18. You creep up along the wall, waiting, getting ready to run through at the moment you see an opportunity, and you do find that opportunity as one of the guards clears his throat and steps forward to address what looks like a merchant that's approaching. And in that moment, you scurry on through. The other guard you hear says, "Hey, hey, hey, get out of there!" And but does not
just
get,
takes off.
like, you're a fox. They're not just gonna chase a fox. That's
Yeah.
a crazy thing to do.
That's an absolutely crazy thing to do.
And you scurry off into this residential district.
And
Yeah.
yeah, just honestly the same thing he was doing before. He's in here now. He just wants to kind of like loop around, probably just the main sections, just kind of trot like a little fox. You know, if anybody sees me, I'll kind of run from him. But I think in his head, he's under the impression that his disguise is foolproof at this point.
Yeah.
So
This district is a lot of large, like, family estate style houses, and not a tremendous amount of them, probably no more than 12 estates in total up here. They have rather large, kind of elaborate homes, multiple stories, and most of them have pretty elaborate gardens with hedges and such around them. There is a lot more of a guard presence walking the streets up here. Your disguise does well at keeping you
Go lay down.
out of their view. But this is purely residential. There's no businesses up here. This is where it looks like some more important families make their homes.
no. How long do you think it would take me to get from the entrance to this ring to the second one?
Oh, 20 minutes.
Fantastic. I'm going to attempt the same maneuver. Simply just go to the side, wait, and then just sneak past when somebody when they become distracted.
And it's actually easier to do. You get into the next district up, and now you're in the outskirts of the castle. The grounds, the primary walls, such as that, and you're in the courtyard. Massive courtyard, but the courtyard and grounds and gardens of the castle, which now you can see up ahead of you. Carved all from the same white stone as the cliffs that it's built upon. This is a magnificent sight, and you're quite close to it now. And now you're a little fox on the grounds of a mighty castle.
Amazing. Oh, I probably can't get into that. No, I doubt it. What could I do?
Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
19.
19. As you are kind of sneaking around on the fringes of this space, you hear a sound. A low humming tune. A voice, maybe in a courtyard that is kind of off to the side, that has hedges around it that you can't quite see, but you hear this soft, beautiful sound, this
Ooh, I'm gonna go get a look at that. Interest piqued.
Making your way that way. How do you go into this courtyard? You being a fox, you could probably squeeze through the hedges if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. That sounds pretty simple. I'm just a little
Yeah.
I'm just a little feller.
As you kind of poke your head out through, looking around, you've rolled very decently on your perception. This sort of side garden area, you see this nice little pond with a fountain, and or not, yeah, like not a fountain, but like a water feature in a pond. You see plenty of lilies and cattails and such around the pond, and you see other creatures of of the forest. You see chipmunks and squirrels and hares and other such things all gathered around, all guided here by the same voice, who you see sitting on a stone bench next to this pond. A young woman, red of hair, but with a green hood pulled up and over. You see half moon spectacles upon her brow. She has a very kind smile as she scratches behind the ear and under the chin of several of these creatures. You see she's wearing these kind of flowing green robes with accents of purple and brown, and floating next to her is a small cauldron, just floating in midair with little bits of like silver magic kind of popping every once in a while. But you see she's here and she's humming this tune, and she's guiding these animals towards her, and with a smile she's giving them little scratches. And you in your fox-like form are finding yourself drawn to this music. If you would like, you can make an Arcana check.
Why
Uh-oh.
not? Oh, actually rolled really well. With a -1, that's a 16.
-1. You have been considering magic very similar to this of late. This woman is encouraging a familiar to come to her. And you feel yourself sort of entranced by this magic. You're not charmed, but it's definitely affecting you at least a little bit, much like it's affecting these other creatures.
Okay. Do I get the sense this is the first time she's attempted this ritual?
Insight check.
21.
Almost certainly not. This seems to be a very practiced thing that she's doing.
Okay. I don't think Ewan approaches her at all this evening, though for a period of time before, because he knows he only has an hour. So for a period of time, he listens and is a part of this situation before he leaves. But I think Ewan continues to come back the next few nights.
Very well.
And continues to observe.
I'm going to make one more roll on the back end here.
Shut up! Venom!
I'm just gonna roll a D100. Actually, Jacob, why
Yeah,
don't
what's up?
you roll me a D100 and just tell me what you get?
55.
55. The third night of coming back and being around this woman and not every night is she performing this same ritual and guiding these animals to her. The second night, you see she is writing in a book, and just sits there for quite some time. The third night, she is writing in the book, and she is muttering what you recognize as magical, ritualistic words. And every time she kind of hits a crescendo on that magic, you see this little cauldron that's floating in the air kind of pop, like just kind of will give out these little flashes of magic, and she will smile and make down notations. And this night, as you are preparing to leave, you hear another sound entering the courtyard. Another young woman, also red of hair, but dressed in fine armor, walks so close to you in the bushes that the metal clang of her greave hitting the ground nearly makes you bolt out of the hedge in general. It's right in front of your snout, truly. Just. And you hear her saying, "Dear sister, always out here and about, are we?" As she walks through, and you see following close behind her another figure, much larger. A massive horse follows this woman into this garden. The woman you had been watching looks up and says, "Ah, sister, wonderful to see you. I hope that you have your journey was all right." The second woman says, "My journey was fine, as I knew it would be. You just had to come early. We could have traveled together, and everything would have been, a bit smoother." But you see, the first woman smiles and shrugs and says, "Well, how I like to get to know a place first before before I'm introduced to the people." She just laughs together. How is Ewan feeling at this moment now that two more strange folk have entered this space?
I think he's still invested to watch. This is by far the most intriguing. Now we get to see this individual interact with another person, and her sister, no less.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna creep my way to the door so I can be prepared to or to wherever my exit is here, so I can be prepared.
You start kind of creeping through the hedge, but keeping your ears perked up and your attention focused in one direction. You do notice that as this second woman approaches, the cauldron that is floating by the first woman seems to be excited. It snaps and pops with more of this silver magic. And this first woman looks down and smiles and says, "Well, he's certainly happy to see you." The second woman says, "I would hope you would also be glad to see me." And the two of them embrace. And you hear this second woman say, "We really should travel together, Carrie. It's not good for us to be separated for too long." The first woman just smiles and says, "Everything's fine, Rhea. We'll be fine. We're here for the festivities. Everything's going to be fine." And from there, their conversation just kind of goes into them catching up over. Apparently, they've been separated for a bit of time, and they just start to catch up with one another.
And I'll do nothing unusual for the rest, other than just observe. And then when I feel my time is coming, I will make my leave.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you make for me one more check, and this is just going to be a general wisdom check with advantage.
Okay. Okay. 15 total. I rolled a 5 and
15 total. Seeing both of these women together, seeing them talk, and now their mannerisms, you can't help but notice a striking similarity in their features. to 2 of your companions. Because while they are clearly not full elf, they have many fey features about them. But they're not as pointed as you are. They are rounded of chin and cheek, but their ears just slightly pointed. And the more you sit there and the more you recognize this magic in this space, you feel fairly confident you are in the presence of half Fae. Though what the other half is, you're not quite sure.
Okay.
Is that all Ewan would like to spend his 2 weeks doing?
I think especially after finding it's so simple to get into this place, he will, well, at least for the avenue he's choosing to do so. Yeah, I think that's all he does. Yeah, I think that has enraptured his nighttime interests, and anything in the mornings are perhaps what people need help with.
Okay. All right. It's going to be another dice roll to see who we get to next. Paul is 1. Caitlin is 2. Valerie is 3. Travis is 4. That's a 1. Menda.
All right.
All it up.
So, first thing I would like to do is the Muggle Yump family
Mhm.
said that there was a shop that does weapons and armor, right?
Yes.
I would like to first go check that out real quick. See about getting me a sword if I can.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You make your way up to the 4th level of the city, and you find what is clearly a smithy. Smithies have a distinct smell.
Yeah.
And on the outside of it, you see a very well made sign with a hammer, and like even the sign, though it's made of iron, has like some kind of like there's cracks in the iron that glow slightly red to kind of give this like veined look to it. And you see it is labeled as Hrolda's Arms and Armament.
Is it one of the open air shops or is it? I forget.
There is a forge that is outside, but it doesn't look like that forge is currently being in use. It looks like they're currently working inside.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go in and see what kind of weapons they got inside. It's primarily what I'm looking for. Looking for swords, long swords primarily.
Okay. You enter the shop, and behind a counter, when you enter, you see a very tall, approaching 7 feet, tall woman with fiery red hair, gray skin, and like cracks in her skin that give this kind of soft red glow. Go ahead and you can make a history check or a nature check for me.
Let me see. I don't actually know which one of those I'm better at. It might not be either. Nature or history, you said?
Yep.
It's either. I'll go ahead and do nature though.
Okay.
That's a 10.
10. Even with a 10, you're fairly certain this is a Goliath, a half giant. And judging from the flaming red hair and the cracks in the skin that glow, you believe this must be a half giant of fire giant descent. And she is standing there. She's got, she's very powerfully built, but has a very soft face. And you see she's kind of sorting weapons around. And as she hears the door open and close behind you, she turns and looks and she says, "Oh, wonderful, a customer. Welcome to Brolda's Arms and Armament. How may I be of service to you?"
I was looking to see if y'all had any any swords that I can come take a look at, see if any of them, fit my fancy.
You see, she says, "We have many weapons that we could sell you here. I am more than happy to help you figure out what you need." And you see she turns and looks, what about, and she pulls a few options off of the shelf. You see she puts down a sort of curved scimitar-like blade, more of a short, like a short sword style. Think like the Hobbit swords.
Yeah.
Like Sting or something like that.
Yeah.
A few daggers. She says, "We also have larger weapons if you are interested." And she points to like some great swords up on the wall, but she says, "Although I am worried about your ability to potentially lift such a thing, we do also have," and she pulls down a foil, a rapier style blade as well, and says, "If you were looking for something a bit more elegant and precise."
Well, let me see here, and I'll go ahead and I'll grab that like short sword type blade, and I'll kind of turn from her and kind of give it a little twirl in the hand, see kind of how it feels, and just regular old short sword.
Okay. Absolutely. Let's see here.
I did also want to see if you had any ranged weapons for sale as well.
We could.
Particularly,
We could. We do have several such things. Short sword's going to be 10 gold.
Okay.
We have a few options, although you may be better off speaking to the bowyer for such like bows and crossbows and such things. Although we do have, and she pulls out like a blowgun, basically like a simple pipe like thing. She has a few metallic darts with feathered fletching on them. We have such things as this.
I'll kind of take a look at them and I'll be like, man. Now you see, I always had a want to kind of learn how to use these, but as you can see, as I kind of open my big ass frog mouth a little bit, like it's not really conducive to these fine vessels like that. Where'd you say this bowyer was?
Oh, they're just down the and at that point you hear a gruff voice from around the corner where the forge is. Say, "Talia, I need your assistance in here." And you see the half giant looks over and she says, "Oh, begging your pardon, little sir. I will be right back. I must help my partner." And she turns on her heel and she just walks around the corner.
I'm not that little.
Compared to her, you're very little.
Yeah, I know. I want to get a quick look because she's in like an offshoot room. There's probably not a door, but like an offshoot room. I'd like to get a quick perception check of the kind of a bigger room here.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
That's way better. That is 13.
13. Yeah, looking around, you see a lot of weaponry. You see hammers and axes and spears, all manner of blades. You even see something very similar to like what Ophalon wields, a double-bladed scimitar. It's you also see plenty of armor, mostly heavy and medium armors. Not a lot of like leather armor made here.
Right.
Although you see like maybe a couple of like simple sets of studded leather. But a lot of chain, a lot of even some plate armor, like half finished on a
Oh,
stand.
right.
This seems to be a pretty prolific shop.
All right. But it's definitely for something somebody whose skills are probably a little bit more different than mine. So I want to go ahead and I'm gonna look into that room that they went into, which I assume is like an indoor forge kind of scenario. See what they're doing.
Yeah,
See.
you peek around the corner and you see this large half giant woman who had been assisting you, and you had heard her be called, her name being Talia. You see her with her like very large muscular arms reaching up and gripping onto a massive set of bellows that she's pulling down, and you see all of the muscles in her back just ripple as she pulls these massive bellows down to stoke up the fire. And you see a much shorter figure than her, but even still a little bit taller than you, a female dwarf with just a chin goatee, nothing like not a full goatee, but just the chin comes down a little bit and it's braided. You see she has basically the equivalent of like just an apron and like some tunic pants on, because it's so even as you pop around the corner, it's so hot. It's so hot in this room. And you see this female dwarf is saying, "That's it, Talia, that's it. Keep it stoked." And you see she reaches down, twists off her own hand, takes the hand, puts it out, grabs a strange hammer-like thing, clicks it in, spins it, turns it on. Her hand is now a hammer, and you see she starts to and just begins to hammer a piece of ore that is just shining white with heat. She's got like goggles over her eyes. The fire giant, the fire Goliath here, does not seem to mind the heat at all. Is perfectly comfortable. But you see this female dwarf just pounding out what looks like a new blade, and she's basically doing the hammer fist motion and just bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. I would like to do a quick perception check or investigation check, whichever one you prefer, on what type of ore that is. I'm not proficient in any of that type of shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be probably more of a. You could make a perception check from here. That'd be fine. So you can go ahead and make another perception check for me.
Oh, 12.
12. Looking at the blocks of ore by her feet, all you can really tell is it's a dull gray sort of material before it gets heated up. That could be anything from nickel to iron to steel, but they're just ingots at this point.
Right.
So.
I'll kind of mention, be like, well, what are y'all forging over there, huh? Looks pretty intense.
You see the half giant or the half giant turns around and says, "Oh, the customer." And the dwarf says, "What?" and turns around and misses the ore and smashes her hand with her other hand and says, "Ah, fucking hell! Oh, ow, 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 ow!" And you see the Talia like stops with the bellows and like goes over and fully picks up this dwarf and just like starts looking at her hand. "Are you all right, my dear?" And just starts looking at it like, "Everything will be all right." And he's like, I'm fine. Put me down." And you see she turns around. She says, "Hello, customers should wait in the primary room if you don't mind. This is more of a private area." Fuck. Hell.
No, I completely understand. I kind of like seeing seeing strong folks at work. But if you don't mind, and I'll kind of make my way into the room like I fucking belong there, and I want to grab her hand that she just smashed, and I'll cast a little healing word. I'll fix her hand up. I got 4 spell slots.
Cast a little healing word.
Yep. Seeing as I caused you to miss your aura there, I don't want you to have any hurt hands on my account. I apologize for that.
You cast the healing word, and you see she like rubs at her hand, and she is able to maneuver it a bit better. And she says, "Well, that's impressive there. Sure, it is enough. Right. Talia, we'll finish this later. We'll go out into the primary room, and we'll talk to the customer." And they both together kind of shoo you back out into the main part of the building. Now outside of the outside of the forge, you see the dwarf. She kind of like rubs the soot off of her face, and she removes her goggles. And you see she spins the hammer on her hand, takes it off, and grabs what before you thought maybe was like her actual hand, but is actually just a forged piece of metal to look like a clenched fist. And she spins that on and locks it into place.
Well, that's a spectacular mechanism there.
He says, "Well, thank you. It's of my own design. I'm
pretty sure a friend of mine would love to hear you."
He says, "Well, I'm always more than happy to talk about the trade if you've got a friend interested in smithing." And you see
definitely.
When you work in this business, you've got to be careful. You can get yourself into circumstances where you get injured, and then you gotta work with what you have. And I was lucky enough to be skilled enough to get myself fixed up proper."
Well, that there definitely takes their ingenuity. Definitely looks like it ain't slowing you down none. Seems to have sped you up.
Well, I mean,
Luna farted.
for sure. Gross.
It's bad. All right, get out. Yeah.
She says, well, absolutely. You see, she reaches out with her left hand, that is still her hand that can still maneuver about. And she says, "Roll the hammer fist. Pleasure to meet you." Gives your hand a little shake.
It's a pleasure to meet you too. And my hand, even though I'm very small, but she's probably also pretty small too.
Yeah.
But big-handed smither. My hand is at the same size as hers.
Yeah.
So we shake like a big ass frog hand.
And this is my partner, Talia Brightfellow. And Talia gives you a nod and says, "Wonderful to meet you again, even though I was speaking to you 5 minutes ago."
Well, no worries. No worries. Proper introductions are always a thing that are difficult to do. I am Omenda E. Hacktar. Y'all can either just call me Blub or Glub. I know that's a little difficult there. I'm here for some weapons.
Of course. Looks like we were getting you set up with a short sword. Is there anything else we can get for you here? We also do commission work if you're looking for anything a bit more specific.
Well, nothing too outside of the ordinary here now. Because you guys primarily do weapons and such, right? Y'all don't really do commissions outside of that particular nature.
Weapons and armor, yeah.
Yep. Okay. I don't think I'll be needing too much of that. I do appreciate this here short sword. Yeah.
Of course. Well, I mean, if you need anything else, you're more than welcome to come. If you get a bit more coin on you and you're looking to get that blade there improved, we can do a bit more work on it. It's certain metals for improving blades are a bit more expensive, but if you were to show back up with, say, maybe 250 gold, we could improve that even a bit more for you if you wanted.
Oh wow, that sounds like quite the steal. As Omenda grabs his already paid for short sword
Yeah.
and kind of puts that's expensive as hell for a Mender right
Yeah.
now. He's broke as shit.
Um, and basically, what mechanically, I'll just explain to you mechanically, kind of what they're explaining here.
Yeah.
Dwarven smithing is capable of making a weapon a +1 weapon,
Mhm.
although it would not be considered magical. It would just be a +1 weapon, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So it wouldn't be enchanted, but it would be improved to do more damage.
I see.
We also work in the silvering of weapons. Should you need such things done like that as well. For that, we just ask that you provide the silver, and it's not difficult at all. 25 gold worth of silver, and we can silver anything you need as well.
Well, all right. I definitely appreciate that. I'll denote that to my compatriots. I think a few of them will be able to take you up on that. And this bowyer that you're talking about, it's where again?
Oh, just right up the high street there. Just tell them Hrolda sent you, and they should get you taken care of. If you're looking for a crossbow, a short bow, anything like that, that's who you'd want to ask.
Well, I will do that. I appreciate your patronage here, Hrolda. Hopefully that hand doesn't feel too bad today. I'm about to get out of your hair. And I'll with my weapon at my side, I'm gonna hop out, go to the bowyer, and I just want a crossbow. Honestly, we don't have to. Yeah.
Do you want a hand crossbow, a light crossbow, or a heavy crossbow?
Oh damn, I don't know the difference.
A hand crossbow can be wielded with one hand, and it's 1d6 piercing. And a light crossbow does 1d8 piercing, but it requires two hands to wield.
Oh, okay. So a hand crossbow is the one-handed, and then like a regular one is the okay. I'll go ahead and do a hand crossbow because I am proficient in that. That's just titled hand in your weapon proficiencies.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
A hand crossbow is 75 gold.
That is all of my gold.
They get you set up with a hand crossbow and a full for that 75 gold you get a hand crossbow and you get a case of crossbow bolt.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and add that to your inventory as well.
Case of crossbow bolts, sweet, thank you. And then lastly, in terms of, because this is to be the more longer part, I suppose. I wanted to, because it was, I believe Phineas said that probably down by the docks, because we're water people, and we all came in through there, that they might know a little bit more about Galpa. I want to see if I can get anything like that. I believe it was what was it? Not the shipmaster. What is it called?
Wharf master.
Yeah.
Go ahead and we'll say that this is a few more days into your time here. Go ahead and just make a general charisma check for me.
Okay. Oh, see here. Charisma. Ah. 10.
10. It takes several days. Like, you go to the wharf master and you ask, and he's not entirely sure. He tells you he's seen a few grung around, but none that specifically match anything you've been looking for. You return to the Saucy Selkie. You ask around some of the patrons there, and several days go by of you just kind of looking for as much information as you can get. We'll say maybe midway through the second week.
Yeah.
You do catch sight of something. It's not Galpa Vraga, but you catch sight of another familiar face.
I
A
will.
yellow-skinned grung. You catch them on the far side of the docks. You can see kind of purchasing some kind of like fish or something from somebody there, and you see familiar headscarf and sort of garments. This is another Grung member of the crew that you were a part of, and it's not one of the ones that was killed, which leads you to believe that, well, I don't know what that leads you to believe, but there was a bunch of your crew that betrayed
Might
you,
have
and
been in on it.
a bunch of your crew that were killed. So this one
Mhm.
isn't dead.
And I saw it from like across the wharf getting some fish from like a vendor.
Mhm.
I would like to, but like the minute I see him, I will see them. I will with my hat. You'll kind of see that I'll kind of instead of doing the normal swipe that I'll do. I think the what is it? Is it disguise self that it does, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then it should do it. I'll like pull the flaps of the tricorn hat down, and they'll kind of elongate into a hood, and then I'll kind of throw it out into like a long cloak, so that way I kind of look a little bit more sneaky. And then I'm gonna use my legs, and I'm gonna jump on top of the roofs, so that way I could be outside of view.
Yeah.
Why am I Forrest Gump? I don't know.
You hop up on the roofs and you start sneaking along. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me as you approach this former crew member.
Not with that one. Sorry. Let's see. Ooh, plus a lot. 19.
19, yeah. You're able to get pretty close, and you're just up on roofs following this Grung, who's not taking any particular care to disguise himself.
Yeah.
Although you remember this Grung, he was not particularly. He was more often than not assigned to the swabbing of decks. That's about it. That was kind of his deal.
He was the ship stooge, you know.
And you do know that his name as well. This particular Grung went by the name Grelbus. You follow him around the docks, and you see he kind of makes a few more purchases, kind of taking bites of some rations. And he starts to head up, or he starts to head towards the route back up into the city.
Like towards the upper rings.
Yeah, so like you're down at the dock. He's not. It's gonna take him a while because it's a walk to get up into the main part of the city. But he's still on the docks. It just looks like the general direction he's heading in is towards the road that leads up to the city proper.
Right. I'll kind of keep on the trail, man. I want to see. Do I hear him? Well, he's just doing vendor stuff. He's not really meeting anybody. So, but I'll kind of keep my ears to the ground, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, you see he, kind of takes this meandering walk. Eventually, he ends up in like an alley kind of situation on the docks, and you see he kind of looks around, and he hops over to a little kind of out of sight location and lifts up a board on the dock, and just pokes his head down in, and he looks like he's sorting stuff in a little hideaway.
Am I able, from the distance I'm at, see any of the stuff?
Yeah, you can see. Make a perception check, actually.
Let's see. 9.
9. Hard to see from this distance, but he is alone and completely out of sight.
Okay. So I will then from on top of the roofs, I'll kind of jump to one of the nearby roofs as quietly as I can. And I'll kind of get to, if I can get like directly above him, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But if I can, it's okay.
You absolutely can.
But I'll be directly above him, and then I'll be like, So you thought that you could kill me that easily?
You see, he stiffens and he looks up. He says, "Shit!" And he turns and he's getting ready to dive into the water.
Hmm.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay. That is ooh, god damn. 24.
That's gonna beat his 10. So beating his initiative, you have one move here that you can do anything you need to do to stop him from jumping into the water to get away.
I would like to, if it's at all possible, to kind of, because I can't from the roof, because that's not how physics work. But I would like to from like the side of the wall, and then like you know, like you can kind of, before you fall off the wall, you can take a couple steps or whatever. I would like to get my feet planted, use my like grung jump feet, and just power through his fucking spear his ass into the floor. Yeah.
Go ahead and just make an attack roll for me with advantage, because you're above him.
I got for advantage. I'm gonna roll a different dice. Good idea. And 16. 17 actually.
You smash into him and just bowl him over, and now you are essentially standing over him with one of your feet on his chest, pinning him to the dock. He has his hands up. He does not seem to have any weapons on him, and he's just looking up at you like he's seen a ghost. He's like, hi. You're not supposed to be here. You died. You died. I saw you die.
Well, I would like to let you know that it's impossible to kill me. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my sheath. And then when I grab my sheath, I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion as I pull my short sword out, and it's just gonna look like it's covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like I just been fucking killing my way to him.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say like, see, now I know you're not smart enough to come up with this on your own.
No plans for Grelbus. No. Grelbus just did what Grelbus was told.
And who told you?
And you see, he just kind of looks at you. He's like, you know who told you it is Galpavraga. Galpavraga told us what to do. But it doesn't matter. She fucking abandoned us as soon as we got back to the island.
And where did she go, Grelbus?
I don't know. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to find her.
You yellow-bellied bastard. Now I'm gonna just swipe his chest lightly. Not to like do like a whole bunch of damage, but I'm gonna let him know that I will kill him.
Look, I understand you are big mad. I understand. Grelbus understands. Look, we went back to the island. You know the island where the horde?
Right.
We got
Yes.
there and everything started to change. She took all of the loot for herself, and she came here. And everything that I've found is she's just been selling all of the loot everywhere and buying new stuff. She left us with nothing. We don't have anything. There's only a few of us left, and she took all of it herself.
Well, do you have any idea where she went?
You see, he just kind of screws up his face and thinks a bit. He says, Grelbus doesn't know where she went, but everybody that I've spoken to here in the town, seems to say she was preparing to go inland. Why would she do that, Grelbus wonders? Why would she go inland? We're not supposed to go inland. We're supposed to stay in the water.
It doesn't make sense to me either. That's basically as far as I got. Something about climbing gear. So did she find some other kind of score?
maybe she finds another score, but why she sell the other score to go find the new one? And why she take it all for herself? That's just rude.
Well, you can't really trust thieves. You know, that's why I kind of expect it. That's why I'm alive. And can I insight check to see if he's being honest with me?
You absolutely can insight check.
What is that? 14. No, 15.
Grelbus seems to have been being pretty honest.
Mhm.
It looks like he's left at least one bit of information out.
And then okay, so now that I kind of got that, I will stab the tip of my sword into what I assume is like is it a wood dock or is it like
Yeah.
right into the wood, and then and right next to like his like neck / head, and how to do in the movies, you know what I mean? What are you hiding from me, Grelbus? You know I'll find it in your guts.
You see, he gives a little shiver and he says, look, Grelbus just is not sure of the truth of it. Grelbus heard from another piratey sort, like us. Not like us, but like us. They said
Right.
they saw someone that looked like Galpavraga speaking to a blue-haired woman a few weeks ago
A blue-haired woman?
on one of the upper levels of the city, an elven woman.
Elvin, huh? Is he telling? Can I insight check and see if he's truthing me on that guy?
No further insight checks necessary. He's given you the truth. You have sufficiently intimidated him. He's also rolled incredibly low this entire. I've been rolling on my end. He can't be deceptive to save his life. So he's just sitting here. He's bearing it all. He says he met up with a woman outside of a shop, an apothecary, a place of potions and other such things. It looked like they were, well, from what he said, it looked like they were purchasing items together.
Together?
That is all I know. That is all Grelbus knows. Blue-haired woman, elven woman. He said she had a... And he... are any of your instruments visible on your person?
Yeah, so like my horn, which is kind of like almost like a French horn, it's kind of got a couple rolls, you know?
Yeah.
On my hip.
Yeah. You see, he just points to the instrument on your hip and he says, she had items for music on her. But that is all I know. Grelbus swears.
So another magic type, huh? Possibly. Well, Grelbus. And I'll kind of, because my sword's kind of been out, I kind of shunk it up out of the wood and I'll place it back in the sheath.
Yeah.
And I'll take my foot off of Grelbus's torso, and I'll reach a hand out to Grelbus to lift him up. And I'll be like, well, Grelbus, you know, at least you're honest with me. And I'll pull him up.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have lied to me. You shouldn't have betrayed me. And then as I say it, I will with my dagger shunk it right into his gut.
Ooh. Yeah, go ahead and
Get
roll
him.
the hit.
Kill him. Yes. Do it.
Fuck! That's a natural one.
Natural one.
Yeah.
You stab forward, and the very nature of Grung, your dagger hits a soft portion of his body, and the mucus just slides it out of the way. And you see he looks down, and his eyes get wide with fear. He says, "No, don't kill Grelbus. Grelbus was not..." And you see he just starts to run. He just turns around and just scuttles back towards the little area that he had been looking in. He said, I pay. And you see he reaches in and he just pulls out a handful of gold coins, which looks like everything he's managed to scrape up, and he just pushes it forward. He says 50 gold is all I have. It's all I have. Please do not kill Grelbus. Grelbus just wants to live. Grelbus does not want to be a pirate anymore.
You're weak, Grelbus, and I'll snatch it from him. The waves were never for you. Don't ever let me see your face near water again. You better dry out.
You see, he just shakes his head. He says, if you're looking for others, they're on the island. The windswept island. The old homestead. That's where the rest of them are, but she abandoned them too. And you see he just gathers up he's given you all of his wealth. He gathers up the rest of his little stuff and he just takes off into the docks.
Mm-hmm. And what were those two places? Windswept Island something?
The Windswept Isle, which you're familiar with the Windswept.
Yeah. I was putting it in my notes.
Damn,
I wanted to kill him. I wanted to be ruthless. It's still ruthless, but now it's silly.
Yeah. I will say this. Go ahead and roll a history check with advantage for me.
That's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Sitting there thinking about what Grelbus has told you, something comes to your mind. The description of this woman that Galpavraga was seen purchasing items with at an apothecary is very similar to a description of a woman who apparently traded a necklace to an apothecary that you've been to. And a woman that your friends said they saw playing a flute in a field on your way south from Prentref Arimor. That's going to be the end of what we're doing with for these 2 weeks with Omenda. We will return to him when everybody else joins back up here at the end of the session. Moving on. 1, 2, 3, D4 minus 1. That's a 1. It doesn't work. There we go. Caitlin. Or I guess Juniper. Juniper wants to go back to the apothecary, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you make your way over there. Mildred is more than happy to have you in the shop to chat or whatever you'd like to do.
Juniper just inquires of Mildred, would it be possible for you to teach me some stuff? I'd be more than happy to help you out here in the shop while I and my companions are here in the city.
You see she kind of thinks on that for a bit, and she says,
I think something easily could be arranged, dear. I'm not much in the way of teaching hard magic, but I can teach you plenty of potions.
and I will say this, Juniper, it would take a somewhat decent chunk of your 2 weeks, but if you were willing to do it, and I'll have you make a few checks, but I could get you herbalism kit proficiency.
Yeah.
Over the course of this 2 weeks. So go ahead and make me 3 charisma check.
Okay. Just flat charisma?
Just flat charisma. Yep.
All right. Ooh, that's not a great one. That first one is an 8.
8. Okay.
$14.
Okay.
22.
22. So that's 30. So that's 44. Yeah. So you spend a good chunk of this week and a half or 2 weeks going and spending time with Mildred, and she begins to teach you kind of the ins and outs of the crafting of potions and poisons. You can, and I can actually do it for you. I will go into your character sheet and I will add herbalism kit proficiency, which will mean that you will be able to craft healing potions, if you, as long as you have the equipment to do so. She also is going to, at the end of this week, give you an herbalism kit free of charge.
Ooh.
So, let's see here.
Sorry. And
Juniper Hawthorne. Alright. If you reload your character sheet, it should show you that you have proficiency in an herbalism kit now.
awesome.
Yeah.
And just chatting during her lessons with Mildred about the city, and then asking if there were any natural spaces to visit, parks and the like.
She says, "Oh yes, there are plenty of natural spaces. There are a lot of them are sort of designated to shrines for various deities. The old man of the forest has a few little shrines around. There is a small copse of trees actually not far from here, just up the street. That is actually a graveyard for the Iran. But there are other places, little parks and gardens. The further up in the city that you go, the more you will find actual like gardens that are for public access. Some of them, but there are also a lot of private gardens as well.
Where would the closest park be? Because after her lessons, Juniper is going to travel to the park and try to find animals to talk to.
Oh yeah, for sure. She says the closest for just a natural space that doesn't have any real deific correlation would be probably up on the next level, about maybe a 40-minute walk from here. It's a nice little place. It's usually a little bit busy during the day, but if you're planning on going towards the evening, I think you'll find you'll have quite a bit of privacy.
Wonderful. And things I'm assuming that they're having this conversation at closing time.
Yeah,
so everything went quiet downstairs.
Oh yes, everything is fine so far. And actually, I found one of my contacts down at the docks is more than happy to remove the cockatrice youngsters from here so that I don't have to continue housing them, because eventually the cockatrices will get bigger and they will not be able to fit in the crate with the basilisk.
So it could cause many problems, but they are coming to take care of it, so it should not be a problem.
Excellent. Thank you for the lesson, Mildred.
Oh, of course, dear, of course. Yeah, and it takes, like I said, it takes several days to get that proficiency.
Yeah.
But in the evenings, you are more than welcome to go to this park. Getting there, you do find a nice secluded portion of it. There's a large yew tree that's kind of got blossoms along it as it's approaching summertime. It's kind of got like a little creek that flows past it in this area space as well. A nice little secluded space.
Because I'm actually not 100% sure.
Hmm.
How does Sylvan work? You can't just go up to a random tree and talk to it, I'm assuming.
No. Sylvan is the language of the Fae, of specific. So, like, Sylvan is the language of the Wilderland. It's the language of Archfey. Anything from the realm of the Wilderland would probably understand Sylvan. Elven is an offshoot. So, like, people that can understand Elven can understand Sylvan a little bit. There's certain similarities, but Elvish is its own language. It's kind of like the difference between Spanish and Italian. Like if there's a Spanish speaker and an Italian speaker talking together, they can kind of understand each other, but they are still distinct languages.
Okay. Using Sylvan and not expecting a response, she just mentally reaches out to her patron to tell him that she is actively trying to learn and tells him about her day. But while she is in the park, she's looking for like little odds and ends that she can tidy up using her druid craft and trying to find some animals to help.
Yeah. There's like little features and stuff. Yeah, little wave of your hand and some druid craft kind of tidies up certain bushes and shrubs and makes things just look a little bit nicer. These parts of the city are haven for small creatures. You spy rabbits and squirrels and chipmunks, other small rodents, plenty of birds. Yeah, there's a lot of critters around here.
Let's see. Double checking something real quick. She sets up at the base of the yew tree and pulls out her viol, and like she had with the little cave sprites, she's gonna cast beast speech so that animals understand her. And she just starts playing the viol and singing.
Yeah, go
trying
ahead
to make
and
friends.
go ahead and make a performance check with advantage for me.
Could be better. That's a 12. Oh, I have advantage. And that is a 16.
16. Yeah, plenty of these animals gather around and enjoy the sound of your voice. You hear them kind of chittering amongst themselves, and you hear, it's like, not often that the big folk make such beautiful sounds, is it? And you just kind of hear them talking amongst themselves, unaware that you can understand them as you sit there and play. And yeah, you kind of get a little audience here of critters that are, just listening, and some of them, like a little weasel is nearby and just kind of curls up and fully falls asleep on a stump, listening to the sound of your music. Go ahead and make for me a perception check as you are playing this music.
Perception 13.
13. Yeah, you don't notice anything. You just sit here playing your music, and eventually your song comes to an end. And the little creatures seem very happy, and you say, maybe she'll play more, maybe she'll play more, maybe she'll play more. You know, and you hear just a very soft clap from nearby.
Juniper looks up.
You see an extraordinarily old man with a very large, long beard. He's got like markings on his face, like he normally wears spectacles, though he does not have them on at the moment. He has long white hair. He has very nice white robes with golden trim, and just a very simple kind of almost like Julius Caesar style tiara that goes around his head. And he's just sitting there clapping politely. He says, "Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful music, my dear."
Oh, hello. I
Good.
hope I didn't disturb anything.
Oh, not at all, not at all. It's wonderful to see someone who is as comfortable in nature as these fine folk here. And you see he gestures to all of the animals, and the animals have not run away at his presence as he is here. He's got a very calm presence. You see a very slight point to his ears as well, belaying some sort of fey ancestry. Although his ears aren't as pointed as even you or Kyra's. So you imagine, like, while you guys are half elves, this guy might be like a quarter or an eighth elf, if that makes sense.
I've always been more comfortable, and it's always been easier for me to make friends in nature than with actual people.
Ah, well, that's certainly understandable. Well, in that case, I am sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. My name is Juniper Hawthorne. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You see, he just gives a little nod. He says, "Well, Miss Juniper, it is a pleasure. You may call me, you may call me Math."
It's quite a unique name.
Well, not terribly unique, but unique perhaps for people that have not been on this island for a very long time.
And Juniper insight check as to why he's being a little odd about his name.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
17 plus 4.
17 plus 4? He just seems a little bit bemused, but he seems pretty honest. He's just saying, it's not entirely an uncommon name on this island, but it's obvious you are not from this. You've only recently got here, so it's understandable you may not have heard it before.
I was going to play a little bit more before I had to leave. Would you like to stay and listen?
I would like that very much. And you see, he just kind of sits down, and he pulls out a book and just begins to read, and allows you to continue doing what you're doing.
Juniper continues to play for a bit, And when she's done, without looking at any of the specific animals, because she doesn't want to frighten any of them away, I would very much like to come back over the next couple of weeks, if that's okay with all of you little fellas. And if there's anything you ever need, just please ask.
Come back, come back. She said she'll come back. You hear them muttering amongst themselves once again. As you say this to the critters, and they seem very open to the idea of you returning here. You see old Math, he stands and closes his book and tucks it away in his robes, and he says, "Well, young Juniper Hawthorne, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, but I must be on my way. Although it seems you have an audience that is more than willing to continue to listen to your music day in and day out, and perhaps I will see you again in this place over the coming weeks. If I do not, please enjoy the festival of Beeltana, and have a wonderful end of your spring." He stands and he flicks his hand, and a carved wooden like staff, but more like a cane, just kind of appears in his hand, and he sets it down on the ground, and he gives you a half bow, and he just makes his way out of the park.
On Juniper's way back to the inn, is the little weasel still on the stump?
Yeah.
Using Druidcraft, she just makes like a little moss blanket and rests it on top of the weasel.
Adorable. On your way back to the inn, before we finish up with Juniper's bit here, I just want to ask for a perception check from you.
A 13.
A 13. Yeah. You return to your friends, to the place where you've been staying for this since you've gotten to the city. And you spend the next couple of weeks with Mildred learning this proficiency and going and spending time with these animals. You never see the old man again in this space, but you never know. Maybe he'll show up again.
Juniper does inquire of Mildred about math the next day, or for her next lesson.
You see, she chuckles and she says, "Math? There's all sorts of folk out there pretending to be people they shouldn't. The only math that I know is, well," and you see she points out the window up towards the castle, and she says, "The High King, Math the First, son of Mathanwe the Second? You're saying that somebody came and introduced themselves to you as Math? That is the only Math I know of."
Juniper describes him. Older guy with a long white beard.
See, she just kind of is very bemused, and she's just like, "What is the king doing out and about, just wandering in random parks, talking to... my dear, you met the king."
Juniper is just kind of stunned, but okay. But please, she takes a little bit to process that before she can get back to her lesson that day.
Yeah. One more roll. Odds are Velry, evens are Travis. Velry. Kyra. What does Kyra get up to over the course of the next 2 weeks?
While the group was out, I seemed rather put off. Very distant thought-wise. I would like to go to the cusp of trees and see if I can find a cleric.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Just make for me a general charisma check, or make it. You can make it persuasion.
18.
18. You arrive at the little copse of trees. You pass the shrine out front.
Before I go into the shrine, I will take out like a piece of like pine needles that I've kept with me and place it at the edge before entering.
Yeah. You do so, and you begin to head through, and looking through this space as you go tree to tree, you eventually realize how this graveyard is sort of set up is each of the trees here has been planted over a grave. And some of the trees are short, some of them are tall, but overall, most of them are tall enough to be pretty hidden once you are inside. Looking around, you do see a shrouded figure towards the back part of this copse who is very delicately taking moss off of like stripping the witch's hair moss off of some of the trees, and kind of collecting it, putting it into little piles, and kind of pruning the trees properly as you approach.
Pardon me. I've come looking for a bit of knowledge. If you might be able to share.
You see, the shrouded figure turns and looks, and you see a young half giant, but much smaller than any half giants you've seen before. And you see one electric blue eye on the left side of the face, but then the right side of the face there is no eye, and there is in fact a horrific burn scar on that side as they turn and look to you and say, there is a visitor to the shrine. You are looking for knowledge, my dear. This is probably middle-aged half-giant, and they look upon you with their one good eye, with a kind sort of visage, but somewhat grim in countenance, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I was given a gift by the purveyor of this shrine. And I don't know really how to properly give my thanks, I suppose.
You see, he sort of straightens up a bit, and he dusts himself off. He says, come, child, we should, and you see he gestures over to a little area where there's some hedges and bushes and stuff that have been, like, guided into the shape of a seat, basically. Just a little bench, and he sits you down, and he sits down on the other end of it. It's time to rest my bones anyway. You say you have been given a gift. In what way do you mean?
I will pull the bow off of my back. And present it, yeah.
looks at it and
less of a gift and more of a I took it. I stole it. And now I can hear the owner in my head.
he kind of screws up his one good eye and reaches over and just kind of places a thumb along the curve of the bow. A bow of holly. Accent of bone. The eye turns to you and says, "You say you have stolen this, child?"
He kind of let me take it.
Make a persuasion check.
20? Tarnish 20?
Tarnish.
You say that you are
Tarnished.
looking for a way to give thanks.
Brave Tarnish.
If this
Was
truly is the bow that I think it is, the thanks that you need give is, well, have you been asked to perform a service?
2. Yes, that's the other reason I came seeking help.
Then I can think of no other way to show thanks. If you were not meant to have this, you would not have it. It would be firmly elsewhere. And forgive me for saying so, but you would have joined the hunt already. You would not be here anymore if you were not meant to have this.
The wild hunt.
Yes?
Right. About the wild hunt. How would one go about finding them?
See, he chuckles. He says, "Well, the simplest answer to that would be to wait for Samhain, and wait for the hunt to begin as the winter comes."
See, I don't really have that much time. I'm supposed to find someone that is very important to that whole situation. And if I don't, bad things start to happen.
See, he kind of screws up his face, a little bit confused. He just says, but then he looks at you and he gets you kind of your general bearing, and you see his eyes kind of flicker over your pointed ears and the tone of your skin, which gives away part of your ancestry. He says, "If you are looking for someone to talk to on this plane without having to find the hunt somewhere in the other world, because that is the only way you will find the wild hunt proper, is if you go to the other world, my dear. That is where they lurk and wait until the days of winter when they are allowed to come forth. But there are dark elves, the followers of the Iran, those that pledged themselves to his service long, long ago. And they can be found far from here, across the mountains,
There is a river that flows through the vast wilderness, and there is a lonely bridge that crosses it far south from the elven capitals. Crossing this lonely bridge, there is not really a road, but there is said to be a village towards the coast, and I believe it is called Pentrafith. And it is said that that is where the Dark Elves make their home. They have pledged their service to the hunt. They have pledged their service to the Iran. If you were looking for someone on this side of things to speak to, that is where I would go.
All right. He mentioned something about a city, a village close to the ocean.
Yes, I think in this circumstance, village would be the more proper word.
Right. Thank you, for your guidance. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Can you maybe not share what I've told you with anyone, please?
See, he smiles and he says, "What would I share, my dear? That a young huntress came carrying the very bow of the god of death, seeking out answers."
I guess if you put it that way, no one really will believe you, huh?
Certainly not. But, to be perfectly honest, not a lot of questions are asked here of that nature. You may put your mind at ease.
Right.
If you need any assistance communing with the Iran, I am more than happy to assist. If you need to re-up any incense or other such things that you wish to carry with you, I am more than happy to provide this as well.
Have you talked to him?
You see, he smiles. He says, "A long time ago, I lit my incense and sat in this very copse and spent days listening. And finally, he did come to me. And I asked him what my purpose was. I lost my family in a fire very long ago, and I very nearly lost my own life. If I'm being honest, half the reason I wished to speak to him was because I wanted to speak to them once again. And he told me that my calling had led me here, and that I should be a gardener for this beautiful place, this garden of bones. Keep it, and speak kindly to those that come here. And if I did that, then when my time finally came, my family would be the first that I see, waiting for me in the other world."
Hopefully, once this is all said and done, I'll be able to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing.
My dear, you see, he just slowly stands up, and you hear his old bones kind of creaking a bit as he stands, and he places a hand on your shoulder, and he says, "With that bow in your hands, I can guarantee you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing." Just gives you a little pat and returns to gathering moss.
I will run my fingers over the bow before placing it back on my back, and thanking him again before heading out of the cosp. And I'm going to try and find somewhere to get a map.
Yeah, easy enough to do. If you're willing to spend 2 gold, you can get a map pretty easily.
I don't have 2 gold. Okay.
Who do
You have a
I will go.
voucher.
I will go. Yeah, I will go get a map
You get a
from
map.
from
Yeah.
from the
Muggle Yump.
Mumble Yumps.
Yep. Yeah, perfectly happy to provide you with a map.
I will then go and try and find Ewan.
Understood. Ewan's doing a lot on his own, so probably one night, once everybody is returned to the flop house, Juniper, Kyra, you've been up waiting, and you see Ewan kind of I don't know. Ewan wouldn't be slinking back into this space now that he's far enough away from the castle. So, but somewhat late, you see Ewan return and just head right over to his beanstalk and start to climb up into it.
I would just hey, and I'm gonna start running over to the beanstalk. I've been waiting for hours. Where have you been?
Wondering. There's a lot of a city to see. Trying to get my bearings.
I don't want to know where you've been, do I?
I mean, the less you know, the less people can torture you for information.
Why would anyone torture me for information, Ewan?
I don't know. It kind of seems like a thing humans are sort of all about.
I don't think so.
Well, not all about, but you know, it certainly appears to be something they're about.
We haven't come across a single human that has tortured anyone yet.
I mean, you haven't.
Well, I'm not human.
Anyway, what were you asking about? Did you need
Uh,
something?
I need to ask a favor.
Right, I'm listening.
I kind of like lean my head back and groan, and just kind of hang my head. I need you to take me to your den.
To my den?
Yes, the one that you said was inside of someone.
Well, a former someone, if we're being technical. Golly gee, never taken a girl back to my room before.
Wait, no, that's not what I mean. I don't mean it like that at all.
Why?
You're living inside of a god's body. I need to make sure it's not the god that I'm trying to find.
Well, no, I'm living in a tree sprout over there.
You know what I mean.
Oh, right. Past tense. Well, some sort of really far away now. It was a lot closer before we left the village, Pentrith, Arimore.
Well, we can go back to Ventravari more. I need to go.
All right. You can take a look at it. Someone hasn't burned down or entirely restructured by the time we get there.
I don't see why it would be.
Well, because I'm not tending to it, and it could take us several months to get up there.
We don't have several months.
What?
We don't have several months.
What are you talking about?
We have, like... 4 months? 6?
If it's the beginning of spring, it means 4 months have passed. Yeah, 6. No, 6. 6 is accurate.
So we have a few months. We don't have a lot of months. Like a season or 2.
Well, I hope you all can walk very quickly then.
Well, we can get like a cart or something and make it
Carts
slow.
don't go very fast. I don't know
Well,
if you've
I
ever seen
mean-
people carrying them. They're pretty slow. Usually slower than just walking about.
You don't carry a cart you haven't pulled by a horse.
Oh, right, but you know, the horses are going slower than they'd be if they weren't carrying a cart. They're very easy to catch up with, is my point. I feel like we're getting caught up on the wrong things.
Listen, okay. I
already agreed. Why are you trying to explain more?
feel like never mind. I thank you for agreeing. I appreciate it. You're certain you didn't see anyone like come out of that body or anything when you found it, right?
No, I woke up inside of it, so no.
And there was nothing weird happening while you were there.
I mean, aside from waking up in the woods.
Well, inside of a body.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay. All right. I'm panicking. He told me some bad news, and now I'm scared.
Who told you bad news?
The guy who gave me the bow.
The guy who gave you the bow.
More of the
Right.
guy who let me steal his bow.
Okay. I'm gonna go sit in a tree and think about animals.
Sorry. Okay.
You're fine. I already
Bye.
said yes. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
All right. Anything else Kyra wants to accomplish over the course of these 2 weeks?
I would really like to find some special arrows.
Special arrows?
Or a bowman that could possibly make my bow even better.
You make a charisma check for me. Not persuasion, just flat charisma.
5th or with my bonus?
No proficiency bonus, just flat charisma.
15.
15. Nobody you go to feels. Basically, anybody would tell you this is a very skilled artisan bow that they don't feel comfortable working on. As for arrows, easily done. Any type of arrow that you would like to purchase or commission, you can probably acquire. That would include arrows, like, if you wanted, like, arrows +1,
Mm.
you could get those.
Well, I can't get them. I don't have any money, so I was just trying to see if I could figure out where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Those do exist within the city.
Cool. All right, I will keep that in mind. That is all I need to do.
Okay. Ophalon, how are you spending these 2 weeks leading up to the Festival of Beeltana?
Okay. So, and Ophalon, kind of says this to himself, but to anybody else who's listening. I have an idea on how I can find Pfeifferon. I think I got it. What was it? What was that? What was the name of that pub we went to, or the tavern?
Bear and the Butcher.
Bear and the Butcher. Yeah. Thank you, God. I'm gonna talk with the guys at the Bear and the Butcher and see if either before the festival we can have like a big like brawl championship type of thing. If not just like a kind of like a full on fisticuffs, maybe like wrestling. Something a little more full contact than the rope game. Rope game's cool, but it's not wrestling.
You see, you go back to the Bear and the Butcher. You meet up with Cleve, who's the easiest guy to talk to because he's right at the door. You kind of mention things. He gives a little chuckle. He says, "Well, if that's what you're hoping for, there, Ophalon, then no worries at all because we, well, Beeltana is a big celebration. There's all sorts of things going on, food and drink and merriment. There'll be plenty of fighting at the festival." And
Fair enough, but I want to do like a proper like a tournament kind of thing, you know?
oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's the sort of thing that people get up to that like that sort of thing.
And if I know my big brother, it'll show up. And with a little bit of luck, and maybe if we rig the bracket a little bit, he and I will be the final fight.
You see, he chuckles. He says, "Maybe so, maybe so. Look, you're looking for your brother. You said he came to the island about 7 years ago."
Yeah, about that. Yep. I figure it's probably easier to do this than it is for me to just like wander around the city and ask if anybody's seen a guy who looks like me who has these.
See, he laughs. He says, "That's probably true, but do you know if he had any goals when he was coming to the city? Any major plans?"
Well, I assume he probably came here to try and either seek an audience or become a servant to one of the gods.
He nods. He says,
That's generally what we do when we come here on our pilgrimage.
he nods. He says, "Any idea which specific?"
If I would have wagered, I'd probably try and seek out Queen Nuada. So
See, he nods. He says,
probably her.
"Well, if he had the same idea, up on the 4th level, the Temple of the Silver Hand might have been where he went. You could try asking there too."
Okay. I was gonna head up there anyway, so that works pretty well. I appreciate the tip.
Of course. And I can put you down for the tournament.
Fuck yeah.
He says, "Good." And he writes down a name. He says, it'll be a big brawl. It'll be a lot of fun."
Sounds good to me. And then I suppose I will head up and to the 4th level.
All right.
At least make my way up there. I'd also like to see about maybe seeing if somebody could put a shine on my scimitar, or maybe have something even fancier.
Okay. On the way up to the temple, you pass Hrolda's arms and armament as well. Going inside, you see the dwarf and the half giant inside, kind of working on buffing some armor up. They look over at you, and this female half giant looks at you, Ophalon, and says, "Ah, welcome to Hrolda's Arms and Armament. I am Talia Brightfellow. This is my partner, Hrolda Hammerfist. How can we help you today?"
So,
Uh,
nice, pleased to make your acquaintance.
They just nod. They say, Hrolda says, "You looking to purchase? Or you looking to commission? What can we help you with?"
Well, and I will very nicely set my scimitar on the countertop. As you may be able to see, I am an individual of discerning taste, and I would like to know if perhaps you might have something that could either improve or perhaps best this particular piece of weaponry.
You see, Hrolda starts looking it over and says, "The craftsmanship's okay. It's not dwarven smithing by any work, but it's done well." You see, she actually takes her. You see this clenched fist that she never unclenches, and as she moves it over, you see it's entirely made of metal. And as she just kind of looks over, she says, "I could improve this. Depends on how much you want me to improve it. I could improve it significantly for 250 gold. Or if you're just looking to, I don't know, get it silvered, maybe 25 gold worth of silver. We could get that done pretty fast."
Ophalon just kind of like he's just kind of like looking into his little bag of coins. He's just thinking. How much was it for a silver?
25 gold worth of silver.
Okay, so you melt the silver and put it on the blade. That makes sense.
We need powdered silver, yeah.
Right. Well, I can do the silver. What could you do? 50 gold.
She looks at you up and down. She says, "Make a persuasion check."
I am likely going to be using this in a tournament for the upcoming festival, so it would be a good opportunity to show off your craftsmanship to a large audience. That's a 23.
A 23. Let me see here.
Got that proficiency.
Hell yeah, dude. What could I do for? Says for 50.
Yeah.
Probably not a lot I could do. I can get you silvered for 25. For 50, well, I could do this. And you see she takes another double-bladed scimitar off of the wall, pulls it down. She says, "If you were willing to spend a whole 50, we could silver it and we could do this." And you see she takes the double-bladed scimitar here and she twists it and it comes apart, and now it's two separate scimitars for dual wielding purposes.
I do believe you have a customer. Ha ha ha.
Right, well, give us about 3 or 4 days. We can get that taken care of. I've got other commissions I've got to work on. If you don't mind leaving the weapon here, and we can get that taken care of before your festival fight.
Absolutely. We got plenty of time. We have like, what, 2 weeks?
Something like that, yeah. Drop that 50 gold.
Out of curiosity, you know where I might be able to find somebody? I've seen them wear around town. They're called somebody who sells what they're called glasses.
You could probably buy glasses at a general store.
Fair enough. I was already at one, but I guess I can go back.
All right. Well, you see she unscrews the hand off of her hand, puts the hammer on, says, "Right, Talia, go buy me some silver dust." And Talia nods and leans down and kisses Hrolda right on the top of the head, gathers up the gold, and looks at you, Ophalon, and she says, "A pleasure to do business with you, dear customer." And she just walks right out. And Hrolda says, "I'm going to get to work." And she takes your double-ended scimitar and heads back to the forge.
Sounds good to me. Meanwhile, he's still just snacking on jerky just all day long.
Yeah, for sure. So much salt.
So much jerky, so much salt. Regularly filling his water skin whenever possible.
Oh, I was gonna say he was just consistently wondering why he was so thirsty.
Yeah.
Probably. Honestly, he's probably wondering why he's thirsty all the time. No correlation. God damn, I want jerky now.
No
I
jerky.
get that.
Heading out from there, you make your way over to the Temple of the Silver Hand. You see a temple that is oddly more like barracks. And you see many members of the Emerald Guard around here. It looks like a lot of them are direct followers of Nuada, the Silver Queen. But heading inside, you see a magnificent shrine, a statue of a warrior queen with just a magnificent opulent spear, kind of wild hair and eyes in the statue. But the statue, though it is made of rock, the entirety of the right arm is made of silver, like forged silver, grasping this spear. Yeah, looking around inside, you see plenty of members of the Emerald Guard are here. You also see a few clerics of Nuada who, many of them are wearing like, not full armor, but like tabards with a like smear of silver paint in the shape of a hand on their chest. And they are going about their business. What would you like to do?
I would like to try and find the one who looks the least busy.
Okay. Yep. You find a young elven woman. She has her tabard and the smear, but all she's doing at the moment is lighting candles around the space of the shrine here. And she turns and she says, "Can I help you, sir? Anything that the temple can provide?"
Yeah, so, pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Ophalon Thalamore, and I'm looking for my brother. I was hoping perhaps you might have some inkling as to his whereabouts.
Go ahead and roll for me a persuasion check with advantage.
Hell yeah.
Excuse me.
That's a 24.
24. You see,
she kind of perks up a little bit at the name Thalamore, and she says, "Oh, are you're searching for Pfeifferon Thalamore? Yes?"
I am indeed.
She says, I wish I could give you better news, but he left the city a few years ago. He was here for about 4 years. He served in the Emerald Guard, actually, for quite some time.
That sounds like him.
But he said himself that he needed to be closer, that the Silver Queen, and he made it his mission to head north, and he headed towards the citadel of the Cloud Giants to go seek audience. I haven't seen him since. That was over 2 years ago.
So all you know is he went north.
Yes, to the citadel of the Cloud Giants.
Yeah. I appreciate your information. I will thank you. And Ophalon just kind of nods and leaves.
You see, she just he it's known as Kaerayer. If you follow the coast on the eastern side of the island, and you've seen it, you've seen the Citadel of the Cloud Giants. That's the one that Sham showed you guys up in the clouds that you
Yeah.
can see. She says, it's said that the easiest way to get there is actually to go and speak to the dwarves of Karaklan. So maybe that might be a route to take first. I don't know. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you better news.
No, it's all right. I was probably, I don't know. I was probably a bit foolish to think that he was just gonna be hanging out here in the city. So I'm sure he would have gone off to seek his glory, much like I'm here to do. So I will walk his path, and I will find him. I have no doubt of this.
Well,
I'm a little down to know that it's not quite so simple, but you know, we all walk a path. Sometimes our paths converge, and sometimes they break like a fork in a river.
see her eyes just kind of starting to glaze over a little bit. But she just says, "Of course. Well, Mr. Thalamore, if you're anything like your brother," and you see she turns around and kind of busies herself with something for a moment, and she comes back, a simple pendant on a chain with a hanging silver hand enclosed in a circle. And she just hands it to you, and she says, "This is a symbol of Our Lady, and perhaps it can be of some guidance to you." And she just kind of hands it over. This would technically function as a holy symbol, but being that you don't have cleric or paladin levels, right now you just can mark down that you have a holy symbol of Nuada.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Ophalon?
No, I will.
Okay.
I will take it very gladly, and if not can. I will inquire. What channels might a fellow like myself go through to perhaps find himself in service of the Silver Queen?
She smiles. She says, "Well, volunteering around here is always a good first step, but if you seek, uh, if you seek to earn her gaze through deeds,
I mean, any deed of prowess is what you want to start with.
I think perhaps that might be within my ability. You guys need any help around here today?
Well, we can always use some help.
I got a free afternoon.
Yeah. And yeah, if you would like to spend some time over the next 2 weeks assisting at the Temple of the Silver Hand, they are more than happy to accept that help.
Yeah.
It's a lot of buffing out armor for the Emerald Guard. It's a lot of somewhat what might come across as menial work, but work that needs to be done to keep the city safe.
Oh, and so much rambling and bordering on nonsensical Zen
Yeah, for sure.
dictation from Ophalon as he does
Yeah.
so to anybody and everybody who will listen, whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
Half-forgotten metaphors and
Yeah.
it's starting to sound like the fucking bartender in the Boondock Saints. You know what they say? People in glass houses sink ships.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys spend these 2 weeks doing what you things for yourself, but also for some of you kind of making small names for yourself around little niche parts of the city. Eventually, however, we do come to the evening of the 15th of Sale, the 15th of the month of Willow, the night before the Festival of Bealtana. Throughout the city, decorations have been put up. There are areas set up for bonfires throughout the city. There are also, it seems like, more people. And the next morning, there is supposed to be a grand announcement given by the High King up on the up at the second level, and anyone from the city can come. It is first come, first serve in the courtyard of the castle. So anyone is allowed in, but it once it's full, it's standing room only. And also the Festival of Bealtana this year will be particularly bright and shining in the night of bonfires because it will be taking place on the night of a new moon. There will be no moon in the sky, so the bonfires will be the primary light, lighting up this city like a beacon. This night before the festivities, as all of you are gathered at Phineas's flop house, is there any conversations that you would like to have with each other before going to sleep?
Jennifer is just genuinely curious what everybody's been up to.
I got us a map of the island.
Maps are good.
They'll probably come in handy.
I have been performing moonlit walks and sunlit walks. I've sort of just been walking around.
That sounds like you.
Get a feel for the space.
I have been learning how to make potions from Mildred.
That's fun.
And I think I met the king of the city.
Huh.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
I visited a small park
Dad.
Huh.
with some music, and I met an elderly man named Math. And according to Mildred, there's only one person who goes by that name around here. And that's the king.
Interesting.
You
Here,
should
I
just
thought-
beat him in the park.
Here, I thought if anyone was
Well.
going to meet the king first, it was probably going to be Ophalon. Or Omenda getting arrested.
Hey, I'm rather sneaky, you see. See, I almost
Vital
killed a
Part
man.
of life in Iara.
Ain't nobody knew it.
And I met a bunch of critters in the park as well. They seem to quite like my music.
That's good.
Maybe
I
we
can't-
start a band. We all play a tune.
No, I can't play anything for the life of me.
That's why you sing.
No.
He's got a point.
I sing for one person, and it is my little brother, and that's it.
Well, what if he was in the audience every time? You got free tickets.
He's on the continent. How do you plan on getting him here?
I can get anybody anywhere as long as I got a ship.
Well, you don't have a ship.
Well, that's why we work towards that. Don't you see? Captain's always captaining.
Right.
Do you guys want to go and hear the announcement from the king today? Tomorrow.
I mean,
Yeah.
That
It'd be a
sounds
good
right.
opportunity for me to see. Everybody's probably going to be there.
True.
We should experience as much of this place as we can. Something tells me we won't get a much free time.
We should probably find some jobs. Get some coin in our pockets.
The,
Right. You guys keep talking about like jobs and money.
this is why
You
do
work.
like I do.
And we're not stealing people's money.
He pulls out a pouch of 50 gold pieces. See, look what I came up on these 2 weeks.
Who did you swindle for
Nah.
that?
I didn't swindle anybody.
Inside
It was
check.
given to me.
Juniper's immediate reaction is to
I'm not even
threaten.
going to roll anything. I'm telling the truth.
Didn't swindle anybody.
Anyway, I learned of a town that has more people like me. Up north.
Are we all
right.
just going to end up having to travel north?
Well, there's not really much where else to travel.
We
to be
are
fair.
at the southern
Fair.
tip, and regardless of where we go, we're going north.
Ish.
I suppose. And I know the person that I'm looking for headed inland, so might give us some headway there.
Again, everywhere is inland. You're at the edge.
Yeah, see, so it all works out.
Ophalon, did you get any news about your brother? Ophalon. Ophalon. Ophalon.
that was on purpose.
Did you get any news about your brother?
Well, apparently he headed north, looking to make his way towards the tower and everything.
Right.
Which is no surprise there. I was kind of hoping that maybe he'd be here for the tournament for the festival, but
You never
Yeah,
know what might be
maybe-
going on up north.
yeah. And who knows? Maybe if I do really well at the tournament, the news will make it up to him anyway, and then we'll have something to talk about when I get there.
Well, that's a good
Is
way
it-
to look at it.
Is it like a what kind of tournament is it? Is it like horseshoes or is it
You fighting me?
is it a foot race?
Nah, this is gonna be a proper fighting tournament.
Oh, like real fighting, none of the like
Real
lines with the
slobber.
like rope and that shit.
Nah, real slobber knocker. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, that sounds tempting.
Is anybody allowed to enter in this your competition?
As far as I'm aware, you'd have to ask Cleve.
Is the only thing that you guys talk about fighting?
Well, to be
if
fair,
you gotta make money somehow. Y'all ain't putting in.
to be fair, between when I left my village and when I got to the boat, that's kind of how I made a living. I would just go around and I would look for like tournaments and whatnot and throw down, and that's how. And I would use the prize money for my supplies.
Civilization is fascinating.
I
just roamed around until I was hungry, and then I followed the smell of food or the sounds of animals until I found something that looks tasty, and I killed it and used everything. Except for the innards. The innards are usually well, I mean, I just kind of buried those.
You could use them for bait.
Oh, that's so smart. I was just putting it under trees. The trees looked like they needed a little pick me up in some spots, and I'd just give it to them. That's a good idea, though.
But,
Damn it!
No,
Just,
I like going around and finding the occasional friendly tussle. Occasionally you get drunk and end up in one whether you want to or not. But that's why I've got all the little notch marks here on my hilt, and I pop off my 2 scimitar halves and show the long run of tally marks on the left handle.
What's up, Juniper?
Juniper does not like Omenda's tone when he says that the guys are the only ones chipping in for money.
Oh, no. He's saying he's the only one chipping in for money.
Yeah, okay, so that's even worse, and she really doesn't like that. And just using Druidcraft, she blasts a puff of air in his eyes.
Yeah, dry him out.
Stop being rude.
We'll make some
Omenda.
frog jerky.
Hey, Omenda, can I ask you a question about frog anatomy?
What would you like to ask me?
Are your balls on the inside or outside? 'Cause I know fish have them on the inside. A lot of, like, the furry ones have them on the outside. I'm just kind of curious. So if it's too much, you don't have to answer.
Sweet Jesus.
I don't
Just sort of
think
curious how it works down there.
Ewan, I don't think frogs have penises or balls.
Damn it! My follow-up question. Oh, you don't need to know I was asking.
They lay eggs, last I checked.
I did come from an egg. I was a clutch of 10,000. I was the only one with the golden rings. You see.
You have 10,000 brothers and sisters.
Oh yeah, I suppose the ones that are alive. There's not really that many left.
Lord.
Yeah, the Grung lead a hard life. Not a lot of them make it off of their island. The ones that do don't really go into a very positive trade.
Oh, like piracy is a positive trade.
Oh no, not by any means of the word. It was just very lucrative at the time.
Anyway.
Fascinating.
Well,
Are you going to ask the rest of us if we have outwardly facing genitalia?
Oh no, I was just more curious because I don't know much about frogs. I figure Ophalon probably does because I mean he's got all the he's that a goat guy. Goats have them on the outside.
shaggy pants.
It's just full Donald Duck in it right now.
Does he wear pants?
No, he wears pants, right? Like,
Or he wears like a tunic, right? A long tunic?
Travis.
Travis.
Yes. Sorry, I was sorry. I was trying to adjust the volume on the fucking stream, and it went absolutely buck wild, and I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, you're good.
You're good.
I'm like trying to turn it down. Suddenly it's at 200%. I'm like, oh god, all I hear is fucking Gaelic.
Just wait until I'm cursing. We'll all be hearing again.
Listen,
I think
yeah. Getting away from this conversation.
I think at this point, you guys have had a long 2 weeks, and it's almost time for a festival. I think people are starting to get pretty tired. It's about time for bed. I don't want to interrupt any RP conversations, but I also know people in the real world are also tired. So I'm going to say that everybody finishes up their conversations and retires for the night. But before we end, Ophalon, Juniper, a night of pleasant dreams comes to both of you. Calm presence, the excitement of a festival in the city coming upon you all. And music. A soft lullaby. Sometimes words, sometimes the music of a flute. Both of you awake in the night. You stand from your beds. And you still hear that music. Exiting your rooms, you barely recognize or understand that each other are nearby. Slowly but surely you walk past the beanstalk where Ewan is in the middle of his trance. And you exit the courtyard of Phineas's flophouse, following the sound of this beautiful music, until coming around a corner, you see a blue-haired woman, elven in feature. A flute hovers around her head, playing this tune, while she herself sings a song of the sea. And you are enraptured as you approach, listening, beckoned forth. When you are within about 15 or so feet, you see she opens her eyes and takes both of you in and gives a large, warm smile. And at that moment, Ophalon and Juniper, both of you feel a sharp pain in your side as your muscles lock. And you are frozen in place. As creeping out from behind you, a red-skinned grung with a headscarf, looking up with wide eyes. You feel this poison paralyzing you as this elven woman continues to sing and smile as she strides towards the two of you frozen in place. The small red grung looks up at the woman and then looks behind the two of you and says, "Not the two I wanted." And another voice, as the song continues, comes from right between both of your heads, though you cannot turn to see. A chittering voice. "Not what we wanted, but they will do." And that is where we end this night.
Shit, dog. Here we go again.
Shit. Here we go again.
We will
That's-
play Mehins next week, and then the week after, Caitlin will probably be in induced labor. So I needed to prepare to